now. So that was a general understanding of strength. Now I want to go through Graha Avasthas. Avasthas are how the planet feels.
You're back to the yellow?
No, we're on the white, page 11.
I'm just giving a little intro to this section for Avasthas. So we looked at how strong the planet was. Now we're going to look at how does the planet feel. What's the feelings that the planet has?
Right.
What state of consciousness is it existing in? Okay, let's not dwell.
Okay. Basically, what these show, they're using the same criteria as the positional strength, and what they show are various conditioning factors of mind. It's kind of how that planet will indicate what type of samsara we're going through, what type of illusion in terms of the manifested world we're experiencing. And so there's a number of ways of looking at it. The first one is based on the age of the planet. And so a planet that's 0 to 6 degrees, on page 12, in an odd sign, is in an infant state.
I think we need to take a quick break.
A quick break?
Yeah, looking at everybody. Everybody need a quick little break?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, let's take a quick break.
Okay, quick break.
And
Good.
then we'll go into Avasthā.
Alright, looking good.
Okay. You're on.
No idea.
No, that's what we can stop soon.
Graha Avasthas.
I gotta get home.
Yeah.
Alright.
I know.
So Avasthas in general show the overlays of mind upon the planet in addition to the mental tendencies themselves. Through examination of the planet's state and condition, a lot of useful information can be gleaned about the nature of one's awareness regarding the elemental quality of the planet, and that may lead hopefully to a greater illumination related to the area of life and the signification of the planet. Alright, so Deepthadi Avasthas, states based upon the age of planet. This Avastha relates to a planet's effectiveness.
Say it from your mind.
Okay, planets that are in a sign are given a strength based on their age. So if we can look at the on page 12, the degrees for the planets, and then underneath are the following dictionary definitions. So a planet that is in an infant state is kind of a planet that has the ability to act like an infant. So there's a immaturity, there's a simple nature, there's a kind of a greenhorn kind of effect that planet has.
And what is a planet that's young?
A planet that is young is
How do I know if a planet's acting young?
If a planet's acting young, it would be immature. It would act.
Yeah, but how do I calculate it in the chart?
Oh, how do you calculate it? Well, for instance, a planet in an odd sign from 0 to 6 degrees, and in an even sign from 0 to 6 degrees, from 0 to 6 degrees in an odd sign, and from 24 to 30 degrees in an even sign. That's the infancy. So
in odd signs it starts young and goes to old, and in even signs it starts old and goes to young.
So it's the reverse.
Yeah. Well, you see, there's Bala right there, and then there's odd and even signs.
Could you glean something, say, like if the moon was in Ball, that your mother is an immature person?
Your mother's a little more immature.
Okay.
She does immature things.
You laugh.
Huh?
You laugh, he thought that was funny.
Well-
He was asking a dumb question.
Well, I mean,
interesting connection.
yeah. It's just there's a more green energy there, a more childlike, unknowing, younger energy. Our next Avastha.
Okay, the next Avastha is Kumara, or the youthful state, from 6 degrees to 12 degrees. So, planet here is gaining strength in terms of the quality of its action, or its effectiveness, its ability to act. And Monier Williams equates the strength to that of a prince, or a young girl, 10 to 12 years old. Strong, good, and healthy is the nature given to that planet based on this placement. 6 to 12 degrees in an odd sign, 18 to 24 degrees in an even sign. The next strength is, or the next Avastha is Yuva, or adolescence. We think of the nature of an adolescent as the amount of energy that it has to accomplish various things, risk-taking, or any type of endeavors, or,
That was adult.
well,
It's young adult.
Look at the prime of your life, kind
It's
of.
young adult.
yeah, it's like up to, like, we could say up to
teens to late 20s.
before your
Or
Saturn
30s.
return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before Saturn return.
Yeah, that's a good.
So that's when a lot can be seen from that planet. That planet will feel basically spry. So now we're starting to get a little bit settled here. We're at Vrida, which is the advanced stage. And that would be after the Saturn return to probably like 50 years of age.
30 to 50 years.
Yeah, so the planet is not so motivated to act or filled with energy, but it's more mature, it's wise, it's learned from its experiences.
So wiser but less energy.
Yeah.
It acts like an adult.
And
Can't drink like it used to. Can't stay up late like it used to.
right.
Can't, all those things that you say you can't do like you used to. Yuva.
Vrida.
Vrida, yeah.
Vrida.
And then the last one?
Mrita, which means dead, deceased, death-like, rigid, useless, reduced, vanished, like brain dead, vain, futile.
And basically it's 0 to 6, but it's kind of a spectrum. So it starts as a baby, and from 0 to 6, it's not a baby that whole way. It kind of gets a little bit older, a little bit older, a little bit older, and then it changes into the next state, and it's getting a little older, and so even at this end, Mrit, it's starting old, and then it gets older and older as it gets to the end of the sign. So we look at this to see how a planet's acting, how it's behaving.
So it's not dead at 6, but it's close to dead. It's not
It's an
dead in the
old
water.
person.
So 0 is really dead.
When they get, well, you mean in an even sign?
Yeah.
In an even sign, 0, it's like a person in a wheelchair who needs to be pushed around. Okay. They can't even walk by themselves anymore. They're getting that weak. They just don't feel. This is Avastha. It's about feeling. And so that's our first Avastha. Let's go to the next.
The next group is based on the planet's
No reading.
alertness.
From your head.
So the planets that are, this is the same thing as the planets being exalted, the planets being in the own sign, the planets being signs of enemy, whether the planet's sleeping, whether it's dreaming, or whether it's awake. So planets that are exalted, those planets are awake. Planets that are in other signs are otherwise.
Come on, come on.
Let me take a
No.
take a look. So, if a graha is in its own sign or exaltation, it's said to be awake. If it's in the sign of a friend or a neutral, it's in a dreaming state. If it's in an enemy Rashi or in a debilitation sign, it's sleeping.
So this shows the level of awareness the planet has. How aware. And
Antarctica, the natural one, not temporal.
both you add together.
Okay.
So the
And you
final.
calculate it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But this only divides it into 3 anyway, so but so it's going to be the difference between but you do the calculation first, what it is, and then now what this shows is the state of awareness. So if the Lord of the first house is debilitated, is there much awareness in the consciousness? There's a lot less awareness. If the Lord of the second is debilitated, is the family aware? If the Lord of the second is exalted, the family has a high awareness. They're very aware of what's happening. There's a lot of consciousness there. They're not all sleeping or they're not all in a dream state, just going about their general tasks. Okay? If the Lord of the fourth is exalted, it's awake. The mother is awake. There's awake energy in the home. Consciousness. So this is showing us about the level of perception that's happening in a chart. Okay, Deepthadi Avasthas.
Okay, so we're going to use the same method of calculating these avasthas as we did for the friend enemies that we did in the first source of strength. So these Deepthadi Avasthas, Deepthadi is the name of the first Avastha, which means a planet that is radiant or blazing in its confidence. So let's read through these, and we could kind of just go around the room, each person read one. We could go real quick.
Start here?
Yes.
Okay. Deepta is radiant. A planet is radiant, blazing, and brilliant when in exaltation.
So an exalted planet is shining. It's brilliant. It feels brilliant. It feels light and happy.
Swastha, confident. The planet is confident and stable in its own sign.
Kamudita, delighted. A planet is delighted, pleased, and glad in a great friend's sign.
Shanta, tranquil. Planet is tranquil, gentle, friendly, contented in the friend sign.
Vina, sad. A planet is sad, timid, miserable, depressed, and a neutral sign.
Dukkita, depressed. Distress. Could be the same.
Yeah, same.
The planet is distressed, pain, sorrowful, in an enemy's sign.
What's the difference between Vina and Dukkita?
Well,
Yeah,
Dukkita
depressed.
is a little bit more, the degree of vexation
It's
is
really
a little bit more on the plus side, yeah.
Vikala, crippled. The planet is crippled, impaired, confused, agitated, exhausted when associated with the malefic, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu.
Kala, mischievous. The planet is up to no good, is low or debased, villainous, cruel, and ill-treated, abusive / abused in the sign of a great enemy or in the sign of a malefic, including the sun.
That's the key word, abusive and abused there.
Kopita, angry. A planet is angry, irritated, frustrated, in a state of incompatibility when it conjuncts the sun, called combust.
So these are the degrees of combustion for the planets. The moon, when it's within 12 degrees of the sun. Mercury, when it's within 14 degrees and 12 degrees when retrograde from the sun. Venus, 10 degrees from the sun and 8 degrees when retrograde. Mars, 17 degrees from the sun, Jupiter 11 degrees from the sun, Saturn 15 degrees from the sun.
You don't have debilitated here.
Well, this is not,
This is Parashara.
Oh, he doesn't have debilitated? Okay.
Debilitated, you can say, is, you know, asleep.
Okay.
so, what's that? Oh,
That's own sign, Mulichikana.
Mulitrikona? What do you mean?
You can go, most of the time swastika will work for that.
So, can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
The moon in Scorpio is debilitated, but it's in a friend sign. So does that make it delighted, pleased, glad?
No.
Or,
Debilitated, so it's
okay.
not doing well.
Okay.
He's not giving a specific one here, but
Yes. This is Parashara. If we read the next one, these two are from Saravelli. Saravelli. He gives actually 3, but I listed 2 because I just did. And and the one that he gives for debilitation is Beta, which means alarmed, and a planet is alarmed, frightened, terrified by whatever when in debilitation. And a planet is Shakta, or powerful, when it's retrograde.
So these are how it's feeling, how the planet feels. Very important to have this state.
And same with Bala, that's feeling, that's more
The Bala is how strong it is.
Okay. Or,
The
no, I'm sorry,
Avastha is how it's
Baladi.
feeling.
Baladi.
Baladi is Bala Adi. So Bala means child.
Okay.
There's Bala and Bala.
And it's more, it's development?
It shows the development of it. You know, you know people who are just, they might be 50 years old, but they act like a 6-year-old.
Okay. Old soul, young soul type thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
that kind
Maturity.
of, exactly. And so there's different areas. They might act like a kid, but then they go to work and they're not acting like a kid. So that's the difference between their Lagna Lord and their 10th Lord. The Balavastha of the Lagna Lord and 10th Lord.
So, to determine these last Avasthas, there's the same way of determining the friendship and enmity of the planet based on the sign that it's placed in and the temporal relationship with the Lord of that sign. So you compound those two, and then we're able to come to whether a planet is delighted, tranquil, sad, distressed. Those are all based on these natural and temporal relationships. So next we have Lajitadi Avasthas. These are a little bit more involved.
I don't know if we should go through them today.
Okay.
If you really want to, we can. Otherwise,
I'm
they
kind
can
of
read at home.
right.
Okay. Okay. So we got an introduction to Avastha. You can finish reading this, next weekend. Study these Avasthas. Know the words. Most important thing for the beginners to study is study the houses. Know how the charts work. Do where there's exercises to say number 1, number 2, number 3. Try and do those exercises over the next 2 weeks. Memorize the aspects. You got to know the aspects. They're very important. Both the Rashi aspects and the Graha aspects. And be able to read that to know how that house works. When I say 7th house, be able to look and say, oh, okay, this is the 7th house. Oh, this is the 4th house. To be able to do this calculation, to be able to navigate in there. That's what you want to memorize and learn, okay? The faster you can be, you see when we were just standing over there talking about your chart, we were sitting there, and in our heads we were calculating, 12 from that's Capricorn. Oh, well, you can't do that because it's the 8th Lord. Just knowing that Capricorn was in the 9th house, I said, that's the 8th Lord, so we can't do that. So that exercise where you write down the ascendant of each chart, and you just look at that to start to learn and understand it. Just, you do those exercises so that you get comfortable with how to maneuver in this chart. Okay? So and read all this. Maybe read it twice. Because next class we're going to be adding on to it.
Is this Deepthadi? Is that pretty straightforward? I never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Just what it says here?
Yeah, I just copied
It's
that
another
straight from the
Avastha.
book.